G'day, mates. Let me tell you about the hidden digital trail that could be costing you thousands in retirement, and why you've got less time than you think to fix it. Every single Australian, whether you're still grafting away or already living off the Centrelink Age Pension, needs to hear what I'm about to tell you, because buried inside your myGov account right now is a record that could reveal whether you've been quietly robbed of your retirement savings for years. I'm talking about your ATO superannuation and employment records. Now, I can already hear some of you. Yeah, I've seen that before. I check my super balance once in a blue moon. Nothing new here, mate. Stop right there. Don't you dare click away, because what I'm about to reveal is something the ATO won't ring you up to explain. Something most Australians, even blokes and Sheilas who've been retired for a decade, have absolutely no clue about. And here's the kicker. There's a strict legal deadline attached to this that makes it genuinely urgent. Miss that window, and you could lose thousands of dollars forever. No second chances. Gone. Before we dive deeper, do me a favor. Subscribe to this channel right now and smash that notification bell. I regularly dig up this exact kind of no-nonsense financial information, the stuff that's buried deep in government systems that genuinely affects your pocket, and the stuff nobody's going to ring you about at dinner time to explain. Hit subscribe, turn on those notifications, and let's get stuck into it. Right, let's break down how your retirement actually works in this country. Unlike our mates over in the States, where the government calculates your pension based on a 35-year master file of every dollar you've earned, Australia does things differently. We rely heavily on the superannuation guarantee. From your very first shift flipping burgers or stacking shelves, every employer you've ever worked for was legally obligated to pay a percentage of your wages into your super fund. The ATO tracks all of this data. Now, here's the question that should make you sit up straight. If you're already receiving the Centrelink Age Pension, or you're close to retirement, why should you bother looking backward? Fair question. Here's the brutal answer. Because employers make mistakes, and sometimes they flat out don't pay what they owe. Unpaid super is a multi-billion-dollar crisis in Australia right now. We're not talking small change. We're talking about systematic wage theft that's happening across the country, often without workers even realizing it. And when there's an error in your super history, it doesn't sit there harmlessly like a typo on an old receipt. It robs you of decades of compound interest. That missing super from 20 years ago should have been growing, compounding, building wealth for you year after year. Instead, it's gone, vanished. And that permanently reduces your retirement nest egg, forcing you to rely entirely on a fixed Centrelink pension that barely keeps up with the cost of living. Let me give you a couple of real examples, true stories from everyday Australians just like you. Case number 1. A woman in her late 60s, already retired, living quietly in regional Victoria. One afternoon, out of sheer boredom, she logged into her myGov account. She started scrolling through her ATO super history, just curious, really, and she noticed something odd, a 3-year period in the late 1990s showing 0 contributions. Absolutely nothing. Now she knew she had worked full-time during exactly that period. She'd been on the factory floor at a manufacturing company in Geelong, clocking in 5 days a week, same as always. So what happened? Turns out the company had run into serious financial trouble. They stopped paying their super guarantee obligations, quietly, without telling anyone. Eventually, the company went belly up, closed the doors, liquidated, gone. Because she never checked, because she assumed everything was sorted, she lost thousands of dollars that should have been compounding for over 20 years, money that could have made her retirement significantly more comfortable. Instead, gone forever. Case number 2, a bloke from Sydney. Hard worker, did 2 jobs for years to make ends meet. His primary income was recorded correctly, no dramas there. But his evening job? The super from that second employer was missing entirely. He eventually dug into it. Turns out the employer had transposed a single digit of his tax file number on their payroll system. An honest clerical mistake, one bloody number, and years of his retirement savings were sitting in the ATO's lost super pile, unclaimed, gathering dust. Once he discovered the error, he filed a correction. The ATO investigated, and his super balance went up permanently. That's real money, back where it belongs. These aren't rare edge cases. This happens every single day across Australia. Now, here's the part that creates genuine, time-sensitive urgency. The part that most Australians have absolutely no idea about. Under Australian tax law, employers are only legally required to keep your super records for 5 years, and even under Fair Work guidelines, business payroll history disappears after 7 years. Read that again. 5 to 7 years. After that window closes, if you suddenly discover unpaid super and ask the ATO to investigate, they will generally refuse to pursue it. The law shifts the entire burden of proof onto you. And if you don't have old pay slips, old PAYG summaries, old employment contracts, if you can't prove you worked there and how much you earned, you're stuffed. The employer can simply say, "We've got no records of that," and you're left with nothing. And here's what makes this especially critical right now. On July 1st, 2026, the new Payday Super laws are coming into effect. This is a game changer. It forces employers to pay your super at the exact same time as your wages. No more quarterly delays, no more excuses. But here's the catch that nobody's shouting about. This new law does not automatically fix your past missing years. It doesn't magically go back and recover the super you were never paid in 2003, or 2011, or 2018. Those gaps, still your problem. And the clock is ticking. The longer you wait, the harder it gets. The longer those old PAYG summaries and payslips sit in a cardboard box in your garage or shed, the more likely they are to get lost, thrown out during a spring clean, destroyed in a flood, or accidentally binned by a well-meaning family member. Check your records now while you still have time to gather what you need without a legal battle. All right, so what do you actually do if you suspect you're missing super? Step one is to gather your proof. The strongest evidence you can possibly have is your original payslips or old PAYG payment summaries. Dig through your filing cabinet, your old desk drawers, anywhere you might have stashed paperwork from years ago. If you don't have those, and let's be honest, most people don't keep payslips from 20 years ago, don't panic. You've got other options. Old bank statements can serve as powerful proof of employment. If you can pull up archive statements from Combank, Westpac, NAB, or wherever you banked back then, and they show consistent salary deposits from that employer, that's solid evidence. The ATO can work with that. Step two is to log into your myGov account. Go to the ATO section. There's an online tool called Report Unpaid Super Contributions from My Employer. It's completely free. No lawyers, no forms to print and post. Enter the dates you worked, the employer's details, attach your documentation, and submit it. The ATO will investigate, and if they find that you're owed money, they have the legal power to compel the employer to pay what you're owed, plus interest, directly into your super fund. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. But, mate, the company I worked for doesn't even exist anymore. They closed down years ago. The boss retired. The business went bankrupt. What then? You still have options. Now, if the company went under decades ago, recovering cash directly from them can be a massive legal hurdle. But for more recent company closures, the ATO has serious teeth. They can use the director penalty notice system to hold former company directors personally liable for unpaid super. Even if the company's gone, the director who ran it can still be chased. Furthermore, using that same ATO portal, you can run a free search for lost super, money that might be sitting in government holding accounts, waiting for you to claim it. Millions of dollars are sitting unclaimed right now. Could some of it be yours? And here's something for anyone watching this who has elderly parents who aren't comfortable with computers or technology. This is something you can do for them in 20 minutes. Sit down together over a cuppa. Help them log into their myGov account. Check their ATO super history. Check their Centrelink income records. Look for gaps, missing employers, lost accounts. Now, just a quick heads up. If you do recover a massive chunk of lost super for them, just be mindful of how it might interact with Centrelink's assets and income test limits. But finding that money, that is always the priority. Finding just one missing account could mean thousands of dollars recovered for their retirement. That could be the difference between scraping by and living comfortably, between choosing between groceries and medication or having enough for both. It's not just about money, it's about dignity. It's about making sure the system doesn't quietly rob them of what they rightfully earned. So here's the bottom line, mates. Your retirement comfort, your ability to live with dignity after decades of hard work, relies on your superannuation being paid correctly and your Centrelink reporting being accurate. Open your myGov account. Check your ATO records for missing super, for lost accounts, for employers that might have shortchanged you. Remember the 5 to 7 year employer record rule. The sooner you check, the easier it is to fix. The longer you wait, the harder it gets, and eventually it becomes impossible. Don't let the system quietly rob you. Don't assume everything's fine just because nobody's called to warn you. Take action now. Subscribe to this channel. Share this video with someone you know who's approaching retirement or already on the age pension, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay sharp, stay informed, and protect what's yours.